So, hey guys, Chauzu here. So I just wanted to talk a bit about one of the best changes they've done to Trash Map Sugofest in a while. It's not confirmed if it's a permanent change. This is the first time they've done it. They've not said anything about the future, but what they've done is good, and I hope it's permanent. So, basically, if we look at the event info here, scroll down a bit, we'll see on part 1 that there is a special Treasure Sugofest only characters. And these characters are treasure map units who before were limited. And historically, units like these never rerun. Like, there are some exceptions, like, for example, we have Vivian Perona here. They've rerun once. Like, those treasure map units that are seasonal are more realistic to rerun, basically. But otherwise, like, funnily enough, a lot of stuff here, some stuff here has rerun, at least on JP, due to the fact that with the sync, JP and Global Sugos got a bit weird for a while, and JP got some reruns they don't usually do because JP and Global were getting the same Sugos, but Global hadn't got all units yet, so JP did get reruns for the Kindermon Gang batch here, that are really good, by the way. But stuff like these Zoro batch, very big batch, and it's also one of the few trash map batches who's got PvP abilities, pretty funny. So people assume this batch will be permanent when it dropped, but it didn't turn out to be like that, and this is the first time they rerun. But yeah, all of these units are really solid, and this really increases the value of part 1 of Sugos. Like, if you look on this Sugo, for example, just to give a picture, like, sure, there are some treasure map legends, and there will be some on every part. Some are different, some are the same. Otherwise, on part 1, you usually never get a debut legend on part 1. There's usually 2 debuts, and they are put on part 2 and 3 with halved rates. But even with those halved rates, it's usually worth to go part 2 and 3, just for the small chance of getting that pull and making treasure map easier. But like, from now on, the discussion will change, because sure, there might be legends you don't have on part 2 and 3, but part 1 might have all of these stuff in the future. And I haven't talked about this yet, but I'm not saying that it's going to be the same every time. I'm assuming that this will be a rotation, which might look like a bad thing compared to what they do in Kizuna, where like everything reruns every Sugo. But in my experience with Kizuna, this just means that everything has super low rate. So if you don't, you usually end up not pulling a ton of stuff. Like, I've still not pulled the Kizuna Crocodile, for example, the rare recruit. Despite doing a lot of pulls on Kizuna, but he's never showed up. And we're going to check rates later, but since the pool is a bit smaller here, this basically means that they are quotation marks boosted. So the rates are a bit better than they will be if we'll had like every single treasure map rare recruit and none are boosted, and everything will be very low rate, and maybe not everything will be desirable. But yeah, back to the point here, like, yeah, part 1 might not have new legends, like on part 2 we have Ulti here, part 3 has Hiyori, but as said, they are halved rates, while the treasure map recruits on part 1 are limited, quotation marks, might not be as limited in the future, but probably won't rerun all the time. And this is exciting because, like, there's a good chance we get some good stuff that people didn't get. Stuff like the support, the Hyogoro with the great support, the Luffy from the same batch. 2 easy examples, I've used like the Big Mama bit with the and Otama and Chopper. That was also a very good batch. We had the Ace vs Akaino debut with very good support as well. Like, there's a lot of good old treasure map batches that might finally rerun. As for this batch, there are some notable supports. I use this Vivi all the time. Free Spirit Call of Affinity support when you use a special, super good. The Sanji is very good, letting you lock orbs for Nami and Kinemon. This Denjiro is very good, giving you end of turn damage for 3 turns, which is very rare, of course, and can be put on Oden and Kinemon. Very nice. I've used it quite a bit on both Oden and Kinemon. Pairs very well with the V1 Roger and V1 Oden combo. And yeah, I guess those are the main ones. I just realized I haven't actually pulled the Kinemon, and this is actually a pretty decent unit. Don't even remember the support though. Okay. Not the best, but pretty decent. So yeah, it's a shame I couldn't get the Kinemon from the pools, but it is what it is. One thing we could talk about is the steps. Like, the steps are the same as usual. Yeah, you see I went to 5th tier. I have a hard time resisting the guaranteed legend steps. But yeah, like, the steps are the same as usual, but I feel like some of the rate boosted steps should be changed to guaranteed treasure map, Sugofest exclusive or something like that. Give some steps where these new units are guaranteed. Just improve the steps a little bit. Make part 1 even more enticing. Finally, if we take a look at the rates a bit. Need to scroll down a bit. And yeah, as you see here, the rates for all of them are 0.458, which is fine. It could be higher, like you see the rate boosted units go about 1.5%, so very realistic to get. So while it's realistic to get any of these, like if we count, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's 12 of them, so that's basically a bit below 6% chance to get one every multi. Not the worst, but could be even better in my opinion. And just to confirm, as you can see, this is only for part 1. In part 2, this feature is not available. And it's all about making part 1 better. But I feel like if they do it like that, they really need to make part 1 a lot better. As you see, they are not part here. But yeah, honestly, noticing I didn't have the Kinemon, it's enticing to pull more. Like if steps 8, for example, was good, like the one I talked about, maybe. But now I need to save gems for the next Super Sugo. Can't afford to waste more gems now. But yeah, I just want to talk a bit about this. It's a great change. I really hated limited treasure map re-recruits. So it's not limited anymore. Great. A personal hope of mine is that they take worthless old treasure map re-recruits and buff them. They could do it with level limit break. They've not given it to re-recruits, but there's nothing stopping them. And then they could rerun them. Like, take for example this Wonder Decken that I randomly thought about, all treasure map re-recruits. Loading. There we go. Like, look at this special. Damage to one enemy, reduce attack damage 3 turns, and then something only working on treasure maps. Like, there's a ton of treasure map re-recruits that are worth like this. Just give units like this, level limit break, rerun them on a treasure map Sugo. That will be super duper hype. We'll see if they ever do it. Like, I've said it before, but I expect level limit break on non-legends once legends start catching up to more modern units. Now we get a lot of legends every month, but in the future that won't really be the case anymore, I'm sure. But yeah, hope this video was helpful. That was the goal. And I'll be back tomorrow with my own treasure map teams. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.